Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call the 39th Annual General Meeting of CHAMS Holding Company PLC to order. Can we all stand for the national anthem?
All rise, all compatriots, Nigerians come again to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes was joining on in the to serve with heart and voice. One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
May the Lord bless our nation, Nigeria. I would like to call on Mrs. Amiat Dunuga to give us the opening prayer, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Give thanks to Almighty Allah, who make it possible for each and every one of us to gather here today to discuss about the way forward of our company, CHAMS PLC. I pray as we are about to start the meeting, I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should guide us, be with us in every resolution we are going to pass. Let it lead us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim, ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much. Distinguished shareholders, members of the board, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I have been informed by the company secretary that a quorum is duly formed for this meeting. I welcome you all to the 39th Annual General Meeting of our company, CHAMS Holding Company PLC. The AGM is being streamed live on YouTube for the viewing of our shareholders and other stakeholders. I confirm that the register of directors' interest and attendance at meetings are available for inspection by members and others attending in compliance with the requirement of Section 301 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. These registers can be inspected at the registrar's table. I would like to commence proceedings with the introduction of the directors, secretary, and representatives of the regulatory authorities, both present at this meeting and also online. I start with the young lady on my right-hand side, one of our directors, Mrs. Mayowa Olanio. The former group managing director who retired November 2022, I believe is online, Mr. Gavin Young. I believe it's, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's Mr. Gavin Young online. We have Alhaji Yusuf Modibo, our director, is also online. Kindly spotlight the directors as we give them a good applause. We also have Pastor Itua Igudalo, our director, present with us. Another director, Mr. Shegun Oloketuyi, is with us. Mrs. Olamojiba Bakari, director, she's also with us online. Please, if you can spotlight them as I mentioned their names, please. We also have Mr. Tomiwa Aladekomo, our director online. Dr. Mohamed Santuraki, also our director, is online. Sir Ayobola Abiola, our director, is here seated with us. We have our director, Mr. Mohamed Bashir Yunusa, seated here with us. Our company secretary, Mrs. Yetunde Emmanuel, seated with us. The main organizer of this event. Thank you so much, Yetunde. We have our auditors, PKF Professional Services, also seated with us here. Thank you so much. You are welcome. The members of the audit committee is led by the chairman, Mr. Emmanuel Onoche. All right. You are most welcome. I believe Mr. Adedoyin Owolabi is there also. Happy birthday in arrears, even though you did not invite us to a major birthday. A big round of applause for him. God bless you and God bless your family. Mr. Moses Igrude is with us also. Mrs. Olamojiba Bakari and Mr. Tomiwa Aladekomo, all members of the audit committee. Our registrars are also here with us. First Registrars and Investor Services Limited. Yeah, with a lot of a large crew coming with them. Representatives of the NGS Regulation Limited, Ms. Brenda Duke, you are most welcome. Representatives of the Corporate Affairs Commission, representatives of Securities and Exchange Commission, and myself, Demola Aladekomo, as the chairman. Thank you so much. And I call on our secretary to read the notice of meeting and notes to the notice. Will the company secretary please read the notice convening the meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. I read the notice. Notice is hereby given that the 39th Annual General Meeting of CHAMS Holding Company PLC will hold virtually via www.youtube.com/@chamsgroup/streams on the 21st day of June 2023 at 10 a.m. prompt to transact the following business. Ordinary business. Number 1, to receive the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022 and the reports of the directors, auditor, and audit committee thereon. Number 2, to elect/re-elect the following directors. Election. A, to elect Sir Ayobola Abiola as a non-executive director. B, to elect Mr. Mohamed Bashir Yunusa as a non-executive director. C, to elect Mrs. Mayowa Olaniyan as the Group Managing Director of the company. Roman figure 2, re-election. A, to re-elect Mr. Shegun Oloketui, retiring by rotation. The director being eligible offer himself for re-election. B, to re-elect Mrs. Olamojiba Bakari, retiring by rotation. The director being eligible offer herself for re-election. Number 3, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. Number 4, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. 5, to elect members of the audit committee. Special business. To consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following as ordinary resolution. Number 6, to approve directors' remuneration. Notes. Number 1, proxies. A member entitled to attend and vote at the annual general meeting may appoint a proxy to attend and vote in his or her stead. A proxy need not be a member of the company. Consequently, members may nominate any of the directors as proxy. Executed proxy forms should be emailed to info@firstregistrarsnigeria.com or ebusiness@firstregistrarsnigeria or deposited at the office of the registrars at number 2, Abebe Road, Igomu, Lagos, not later than 48 hours before the time of the meeting. A blank proxy form is included in the 2022 annual reports and accounts, which will also be available on the company's website, www.chamsplc.com, and that of the registrars. The company has made arrangement at its cost for stamp duty to be paid on the proxy forms. Number 2, virtual meeting link. Further to the provisions of Business Facilitations Miscellaneous Provisions Act, Section 240, Subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 was amended to enable public companies conduct their general meeting electronically. This annual general meeting will be held virtually. The virtual link for the annual general meeting will be sent to all shareholders via email and will be available on the company's website at www.chamsplc.com. Number 3, closure of register. The register of members and transfer book will be closed from 7th to 14th day of June 2023, both days inclusive, for the purpose of updating the register of members. Number 4, profile of directors. The profiles of all directors are contained in the annual report and are also available for viewing on the company's website at www.chamsplc.com. Number 5, audit committee. In accordance with section 404 subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, any shareholder may nominate another shareholder for appointment to the audit committee by giving notice in writing of such nominations to the company secretary at least 21 days before the annual general meeting. Number 6, electronic version of the annual report and accounts. Electronic versions of the 2022 annual report and accounts are available online for viewing and download via the company's website, www.chamsplc.com, and that of the registrar, www.firstregistrarsnigeria.com. Number 7, unclaimed dividend. A list of unclaimed dividends will be circulated with the annual report and financial statements. Any shareholder affected by this notice is advised. I continue on the next page. Page 10. Is advised to write or to visit the office of the registrars, First Registrars and Investor Services Limited, at number 2 Abebe Village Road, Igomu, Lagos, during normal working hours, or via the email addresses info@firstregistrarsnigeria.com or ebusiness@firstregistrarsnigeria.com to resolve any issue that they may have with claiming the dividends. Number 8, rights of shareholders to ask questions. Shareholders have the right to ask questions not only at the meeting, but also in writing prior to the meeting, and such questions should be submitted to the company secretary not later than 19th day of June 2022 via the email address info@chamsplc.com. This notice is dated this 31st day of May 2023 signed by order of the board. Yetunde Emmanuel, Company Secretary, FRC/2018/MBA/00000018086. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yetunde. Before we move on to the items on the agenda, I would like to update you on the activities of our company. You will each have received your copy of the annual report I crave your indulgence to take the chairman's statement as read. Thank you so much. The audited accounts for the year ended 31st December 2022 have since been distributed to you, which I believe you'll have found time to read. I hereby invite the representative of our external auditors, PKF Professional Services, to read their opinion as contained on pages 38 to 41 of the annual reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the board of CHAMS Holding Company, PLC, distinguished shareholder, Olatunji Ogundeyin is my name, and I'm here to present the independent auditor's report. Distinguished shareholders, may I crave your indulgence to read the salient portion of our report. Thank you. Independent auditor's report to the shareholders of CHAMS Holding Company, PLC. Opinion. We have audited the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements of CHAMS Holding Company, PLC, formerly CHAMS PLC, and 8 subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the consolidated and separate statement of financial position at 31 December 2022, and the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, and consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements present fairly, in all material respect, the financial position of the group at 31 December 2022, and its financial performance and cash flows for the year ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, in compliance with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act No. 6, 2011, and with the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Our responsibility under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the group in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, ISBA Code, together with the ethical responsibility requirements that are relevant to our audit of the financial statements in Nigeria, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with these requirements and the ISBA Code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the requirement of the fee schedule of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we confirm that we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. Proper books of account have been kept by the group insofar as it appears from our examination of those books. The group's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of account signed by Olatunji Ogundeyin, SCA, for PK Professional Services, Chartered Accountant, Lagos, Nigeria, dated 29 March 2023. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Olatunji Ogundeyin, our auditors. In accordance with the provisions of 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the audit committee duly carried out their duties on the accounts. I hereby invite the chairman of the audit committee, Mr. Emmanuel Onochi, to present the committee report as contained on page 37 of the annual report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board present.
Good morning.
Good morning, shareholders Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to present the auditor's report for the year 2022. Report of the Audit Committee of CHAMS Holding Company PLC to the members of CHAMS PLC and its subsidiaries. In accordance with the provision of Section 404, Subsection 4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we have reviewed the audited financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st December 2022 and report as follows. A, the accounting and reporting policies of the company are consistent with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. B, the scope and planning of the external audit was adequate. C, the company maintained effective system of accounting and internal control during the year. D, we are satisfied with the external auditor's findings and recommendations on management letters and management response thereon. Dated this 27th day of March 2023. Signed, Mr. Emmanuel Onochie, Chairman Audit Committee, FRC, stroke 2017, stroke NIM, stroke 000-16405. Members of the audit committees are as follows. Mr. Moses Iburude, member. Mr. Doyin Owolabi, member. Mrs. Olamujibola Bakari, member. Mr. Tomiwa Aladekomo, member. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Onochie. I now lay the annual reports and accounts for the year ended 31st December 2022 before you. We hereby welcome questions and comments. Please announce your name before your questions or comments, please. Okay, madam, you start with madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, other board members here present, the regulatory authorities here present, my fellow distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Detutu Shiyonbola. I'm the president of Highly Favored Shareholders. Mr. Chairman, I have some observations, comments, questions, and suggestions on CHAMS Holding Company PLC 2022 annual reports and accounts. With your kind permission, I will quickly run through them. On page 13, Board of CHAMS Holdco PLC, in chairman's statement, I observed that Mr. Gavin Young retired from our board on the 31st of November 2022 as the group managing director, and Pastor Itwa Igodalo also retired as independent non-executive director on the 31st December 2022 after serving us for 5 years. I want to seize this opportunity to thank them both for their meritorious service to our company and wish them the very best in their present and future endeavors. To fill the vacuum created by their exit, the board appointed Mrs. Mayowa Olaniyo as the group managing director on the 1st of December 2022. Sir Abiola Ayobola and Mr. Muhammad Bashir Yunusa were appointed as non-executive directors on the 9th of August 2022 and 27th of October 2022, respectively. I want to seize this opportunity to congratulate our GMD, our new GMD, on our promotion and to welcome our new non-executive directors to our board and wish them a fruitful tenure in office. From page 20 to 22, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings is good, but can be better. We need to improve on our attendance. When I married the group operating results on page 23, item 4, with group performance at a glance on page 43, observe the following. Turnover grew by 52% from 3.3 billion naira to 5.1 billion naira in the year under review. Gross profits grew from 745.7 million naira to 1 billion naira in the year under review. Loss after tax grew by 4% from almost 360 million naira to 375.2 million naira in the year under review. Loss per share in kobo grew by 8% from 6.39 kobo to 6.93 kobo in the year under review. I observe a growth in our turnover and a devastating loss, which has made our performance woeful in the year under review. I want to seize this opportunity to encourage the board and the management team for their efforts and implore them to do more to bring our company back to profitability. On page 25, item 7, directors' interest in shares. I observe that 7 directors out of 10 listed have our shares attached to their names directly or indirectly in the year under review. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On the same page 25, disclosure of substantial shareholding. I observe that we have 4 major shareholders with the minority shareholders in our company in the year under review. I would like to know who is representing the interest of the minority shareholders in our board, because what we are considering here is over 70% shareholding. On page 31, the beautiful faces of the board of directors. I observe that we have only 2 ladies in the board of 10 directors, which amounts to 20%. This is unacceptable on gender balancing. We have to improve on it going forward. On page 45, consolidated and separate statements of financial position. I want to limit myself to group position. Trade and other receivables under current assets went up from 966.7 million naira to 3.9 billion naira in the year under review. What are the modalities in place to collect these debts from our customers to the barest minimum, so that it will not amount to a bad debt that will be written off? Trade and other payables under current liabilities reduced from 5.7 billion naira to 4.8 billion naira in the year under review. This is commendable. How do we intend to pay the balance to our creditors? On page 76, note 13, administrative expenses. I want to limit myself to the group expenses. Entertainment expenses went up astronomically from 7.6 million naira to 30.5 million naira in the year under review. This is outrageous. Why? Electricity and power went up from 13.7 million naira to 15.9 million naira in the year under review. Why can't we consider solar energy as alternative to reduce costs? I observe that we have used this our annual report judiciously to advertise all our products and services. This is commendable. Please keep it up. Lastly, I wanted to check my name in the list of unclaimed dividend from page 117 to the last page there. I observed that the print, the font size of that print is so tiny, it is not readable. I just want to suggest that we should make it readable, because most of us are retirees. We are adults, so we are aged people. We need something that will be bolder. I can't even check my name there. Maybe my name is Among. Thank you. Well, I'm not a young person either. If I'm not old, I'm not a young person either. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. I appreciate.
Thank you so much. All right, sir. Please. Just, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Moses Ayodele Ogundeji of Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria. I will ride on the existing protocol, but however, I still have to commend the board for having the courage to stage the annual general meeting. Because some companies, when they don't make profit and when there is no dividend, they shy away. So, because what is most important to we investors and retirees is the dividend. When there is no dividend in any company, when you even receive the annual report, and you don't find that golden item on the agenda, then you feel discouraged. But I know for you to come up or to come out and face us, then I believe there is hope. Though what we are considering is purely historical. We can't change the figure as it is. The key performance indices on the page where we have result at a glance is not so palatable, I would say. Though we were able to grow our top line. But when we look at the cost of sales, because I think what we have to do is to look at what problems we have and then what are the solutions. Looking at, with a margin of 20%, it might be difficult for the company to make profit, to even thinking of paying dividend. So we have to watch our cost of sales. Then number two, when we look at the board members' profile, they are intimidating. So this result, I would say, does not speak well of the board of directors, because I believe the board can do better. You have people with serious intimidating profile that you expect the best from them. I again want to say that when we even look at the equity, even though there is improvement in equity, but what brought about that is the revaluation, not the operational result. That is, I will want the board to look at our processes so as to find what are we doing wrong, and then what can we do better, you know, to turn the function of this company around. The products we have are very good. Is it that we have a marketing problem, or is it that our processes are faulty? So there is need to have a strategic session where we have to review holistically all, you know, our processes, so as to be able to find the best and the most efficient way of doing the business. Because if we are doing business the same way, year in, year out, and we are going down, then it calls for a reason that we should now have to review and be able to adopt the best strategy that will help us. I don't want to go further, but to challenge the board, they have to go back to the drawing board and look at the way the company can be turned around for the benefit, because some of the board members too are shareholders. If we pay dividend, you even have the chunk of it. All we people on this side, you know, we are either 20 naira or couple investors, but you are the one that is going to take the bulk. So therefore, we are challenging you that by next year, if you won't be able to pay dividend, at least you should have wiped away the retained earning which is lost, and then position yourself for, you know, future dividend payment. I want to wish you the best. I know it's not easy to run a company, especially with the environment where we are and what is happening globally. We understand that. But we need to challenge you so that in the no distant time, you'll be able to return to profitability. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, sir. Possibly we should take that. You should take that as the last question. Thank you so much.
My name is Okwonla Emmanuel Lanrewaju, President, Noah Shareholder Association, Akure. My view on the accounts, looking at page 49, the statement of compliance with international financial standard and adequate compliance with Company and Allied Matters Act is worthy of note and excellence. Nature of CHAMS PLC. Number two, provision for litigation claim as done by CHAMS PLC is of high ethics standard as related to page 56. Then, on the final note, looking at the revenue of the company, which I want to conclude by SWOT analysis, the CHAMS core brought a revenue of 988 million. New and membership solution brought in a revenue of 885 million. Data card products, 1.266 billion. Virtual airtime fee, 1.175 billion. I want you to know as a management that you have strengths in the business, and you have weakness, and you have opportunity and threats. So one of your revenue is one of your strengths, which I want you to work on it and make more revenue so that you can write off every losses in the books. The weakness as a company, some of it is increased loan and liabilities, which we have to work on. And the opportunity is available, there's more opportunity in the market based on your peers and based on what is happening in the environment. I think the management, you have to tap on this one too to make the company grow forward. And finally, on the threats to the company, we have environmental and economic threat to the company, but this does not mean that we should not have a focus. Our focus is that the company should move forward and be a going concern. And as the Lord as we have it, God will make us to move higher forever in the name of Jesus. And lastly, unclaimed dividend in your book, please, it needs to be reduced drastically. It is much. And my take home for the management is for us to work on the cost of sales so that the company can return back to profitability. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those beautiful questions. Also, Ogbeni Moses Ogundeji also for their questions. We just highlight some of them, take some of them, the others we're going to give you detailed responses. Some of the things that the barrister mentioned is about one particular one is advertising our solutions in this annual report. You will know that this will have a barrage, quite a lot of solutions, consumer-facing solutions. Your company used to be heavily government involved. Things like National ID, BVN, SIMREG, the INEC, and at this fora, over a period of time, we had to write off billions of naira based on government projects. But like you said, Mr. Moses Ogundeji, the board met and they re-strategized that instead of depending on government businesses with all the policy somersaults, inconsistencies in regulation, let us focus on the consumer, on digital solutions. And I'm very happy also when I, looking through along with you, that a lot is seeing massive results by we having consumer-based solutions. And there are some transactions that have started happening now that would ordinarily not have happened in CHAMS. So we are less dependent, actually not dependent on government anymore. We still are committed as a company based in the country, but now we are facing the consumer and looking at Africa. So you start seeing quite a lot of turnaround with us starting this financial year 2023. And I must give kudos to the board members and also to the ESCO, the managing directors of our subsidiaries. They've done quite a lot of beautiful works. I'd like you to look at those solutions. You used to ask us that which of our solutions can you use? And if you go through page, all the pages, look at all those products. Our payment solutions, our mobile payment solutions, they are all usable now. You have Kego, the card center, CHAMS Switch. We now have several usable solutions and the adverts are in there. I will ask the GMD to respond to 3 of the questions on the payables, the receivables, and also are we going to reduce our cost, and others we address them during the course of the year. We take note of the other ones in managing the company. Thank you very much. Mrs. Mayowa Olanio, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mas. Thank you, Barrister, for your questions. I will quickly attend to 3 out of those questions. On the receivable, other payable, and prepayments. This receivable amount is from 2 entities from the group, but we attended to them. At Q1 this year, substantial part of it has actually been received. By God's grace, by the end of the year, you will not see such again. Thank you. On the issue of payable, yes, there is enough cash and assets to cover this. The payable will be paid. The obligation due to the creditors will definitely be paid. If you look at the company current assets and the current liability, you will see that the assets there is way more than the liability. So since it's a going concern organization, that will be dealt with as at when due. Thank you. On the issue of cost, recently the company attended the status of a holdco structure. That means that gives us an opportunity to optimize our cost, to make sure that we work together at the back end and reduce the administrative expenses. By the end of this year, that will reflect in our financial. The cost will have been reduced substantially. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, our GMD. You did ask us about dividends. Let me just say that the issue of the unclaimed dividends, we look at it, working with our registrar to make sure that we reduce the amounts in there. Also make them bolder next year. But it would be nice before next year for you to have claimed a lot of those unclaimed dividends. We are pained that we are not declaring dividend this year. But I must say that the strategies that have been put in place to turn around the company, they're working. All those strategies are working. And we are hoping that by the time we come back next year, we're going to have very positive responses to you on that. We just ask you to patronize our solutions, and you are all our marketers. You are mouthpiece in the marketplace. Can you use those solutions, the pension solutions, the payment solutions, the identity solutions? Can you patronize us with them so that next year we have good reasons to declare robust dividends to you? Thank you so much for those questions. We appreciate them. Our revered shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. As we are no longer taking more questions, let us proceed to voting on some of the resolutions that we have. And we have 6 of them on the agenda. In view of the fact that this meeting is being held virtually, the votes of shareholders have been sent in proxy forms and will be reflected in the minutes based on proxy forms received, as well as members present in person. We now proceed to vote on various resolutions for the meeting. We hereby invite the registrar to guide us on this aspect of the meeting to ensure that all the votes are appropriately captured. Registrar, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, the Board of Directors, the esteemed shareholders, the shareholders that are watching online, ladies and gentlemen. For the purpose of voting on the resolutions, I'm sure, being a shareholder, you must have been given the voting device. The voting device is being displayed on the screen. If you are voting for the resolution, please press 1A on the voting device. If you are voting against any of the resolution, please press 2B. And please ensure that your voting device, the screen is blank before commencement of the voting. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I will move the motions and then invite a shareholder to second each motion. The results will be projected on the screen for our viewers. The first item on the agenda is to receive the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022 and the reports of the directors, auditor, and audit committee thereon. I therefore move that the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022 and the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee be received by the members. Will a member please second this motion? Barrister, please. Sorry. Oh, okay, sorry. All right. Mrs. Samia Todunga. Please, can you do that again? Just- Thank you so much. The motion is hereby put to a vote. Registrar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Please hold on. The voting will soon commence. The very first resolution is to receive the financial statement and report for the company. If you are for that resolution, please press 1A. If you are voting against, please press 2B. Voting has commenced. We've gotten 3 responses already. Six responses. 6 responses. Six responses. I'm lost. We have 4 seconds left. 2 seconds. Time up. Poll close. Can you display the results? Just a minute. After the voting on that resolution, we have 128 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 1,210,071,010 units, 100%. No dissenting voice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Following the announcement of the result by the registrar, I hereby declare the motion carried. The second item on the agenda is the election, stroke re-election, and retirement of directors. In exercise of the powers conferred on the Board of Directors, and in accordance with the same Article 81, the directors appointed additional directors to the board and are seeking to ratify their appointments as directors. Their profiles can be found on the company's website. I will start with the election of Sir Ayobola Abiola as a director of the company. Yes, please. Yes.
We have election of directors as well as re-election. So I want to suggest that we take the election, that is ABC, as one single resolution, while under 2, A, B, C as single resolution, A and B. So re-election, let us take it as single resolution, while the election, we take it as single resolution. You understand what I'm saying, sir? So instead of taking them one by one.
All right.
You lump them.
Is that okay for us to go that way?
Yes. Okay, I want to move a motion that ABC should be taken as single resolution under election.
All right.
Odunuga Samia second that, sir.
Can somebody second? Okay, thank you so much for seconding that.
Ogundeji is my name.
All right. ABC. All right. Okay. So we take that again. In exercise of the powers conferred on the board of directors and in accordance with the same Article 81, the directors appointed additional directors to the board and are seeking to ratify their appointments as directors. Their profiles can be found on the company's website. I will start with the election of Sir Ayobola Biola, Mr. Mohammed Bashir Yunusa, and Mrs. Mayowa Olaniyan as Group Managing Director. Will a member second the motion? Okay, thank you very much. The motion is hereby put to vote. Register, please.
Thank you very much, sir. As earlier mentioned, if you are voting for a resolution, please press 1A. If you are voting against, press 2B. For the re-election of director, which is going to be by a single resolution, that is for all the 3 directors. If you are in favor, please press 1A. If you are against, press 2B. Voting has commenced. We've gotten 5 responses already. 5 responses. Six responses. 6. Count down, please. A second left. Time up. Please close the poll. Can you display the results? At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is the election of the new directors, we have 120 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 1,209,691,010 units. No against. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Following the announcement of the result by the registrar, I declare the motion carried, and it is hereby resolved that Sir Ayobola Abiola, can we see you, please? Mr. Mohammed Bashir Yunusa are both elected as directors, and also Mrs. Mayowa Olaniyan be and is hereby elected as our Group Managing Director. Congratulations. Congratulations. The shareholders want to party. We move to the re-election of directors. The directors are retiring by rotation under Article 75 of the company's articles and Section 285 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. And being eligible and having indicated their willingness to stay in office, they present themselves for re-election. Their reappointment is to be approved at this meeting. Based on the initial motion that was carried, I hereby move that Mr. Segun Oloketuyi and Mrs. Olamojiba Bakari, being directors, retiring by rotation and presenting themselves for re-election at this meeting in accordance with the company's articles of association, be and are hereby re-elected as non-executive directors of the company. You can see their faces spotlighted on the screen. Will a member second this motion, please? Thank you so much. Mr. Moses Ogundeji Ayodele, thank you. The motion is hereby put to vote. We call on the registrar to count the votes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For the re-election of the retiring directors, I'm still going to follow the same process. If you are voting for, press 1A. If you are voting against, press 2B. Please, open the poll. We've gotten one response, 3 responses, 5, 6 responses. 6 responses. Please start to count down. 4, 3, 2 seconds left. Time up. Please display the result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is the re-election of directors, we have 428 shareholders voting through proxy and physically present here, with the total shares of 1,209,691,010 units. No dissenting voice. Thank you.
Following the announcement of the result by the registrar, I hereby declare the motion carried, and it is hereby resolved that Mr. Segun Oloketui and Adea Mrs. Ola Mojiba Bakare be and are hereby re-elected as directors of the company. Congratulations, Mr. Oloketui. Congratulations, Madam. We wish them the very best in the service of our companies and subsidiaries. They play great roles in our subsidiaries. We wish to announce the retirement of our directors. Distinguished shareholders, during the year, Pastor Itua Igodalo and Mr. Gavin Young announced their intention to retire as non-executive director and group managing director of the company respectively. They both wished to thank all the shareholders and board members for their unwavering support when they were on the board. And on your behalf, we thank Pastor Itua Igodalo, who, knowing how busy he was when he was on the board, served with us for decades. And also Mr. Gavin Young, who worked diligently, relentlessly, with all due perseverance at almost the most critical period of our existence. And having brought us to stability, they both decided to retire. We'd like to thank them for their great works for our company. May the Lord bless them and their families. Thank you very much, Mr. Gavin Young. Thank you so much. Right now is far away, Australia. He decided to join us. Warm regards to your family members and also to Pastor Itua Igodalo. Thank you, Gavin. See you soon. The third item on the agenda is to authorize the Board of Directors to fix the remuneration of auditors. In accordance with Section 408 of CAMA 2020, it is required that the remuneration of the auditors be fixed by the company in general meeting or in such manner as the company in general meeting may determine. I therefore move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditors of the company. Will a member second this motion, please? Okay. Mr. Okola, please. Olanrewaju. Thank you so much. I call on the registrar.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So the next resolution is the authorization of the director to fix the remuneration of the auditors. If you are for that resolution, press 1A. If you are voting against, press 2B. Please open the poll. 4 responses. 5 responses. 5 responses. 6 responses. Calm down. A second left. Time up. Please display the result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, we have 120 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 1,210,211,010 units. 100%. No against. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear registrar. Following the announcement of the result by the registrar, I hereby declare the motion carried. The fourth item on the agenda is to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. Section 257 of CAMA 2020 provides that at this meeting, the remuneration of the managers of the company be disclosed. Please note that this item is provided for on page 110 of the annual report for the information of our members. The fifth item on the agenda is the election of the members of the Statutory Audit Committee of the company. The Audit Committee is a requirement of Section 404, subsection 3 of CAMA 2020. The committee is constituted of 2 non-executive directors and 3 representatives of the shareholders, subject to a limit of 5 members. Members are not entitled to remuneration and are subject to re-election annually. Consequently, the board has nominated the following non-executive directors as members of the audit committee. Lady Mrs. Ola Bakari and Sir Ayobola Abiola. In accordance with Section 404,